to work with my setup here a little bit because there we go. It's a little bit here. The lighting not necessarily optimal, but we're going to roll with it today. Thank you for joining me. And of course, today we're talking about all kinds of great things here. Specifically, we're talking about the end of the Millionaires Club in Washington, D.C. Now, of course, people are saying the Millionaires Club. I didn't know there was one there. Hey, I've never been invited to the Millionaires Club. Well, I'm here to say that if you take a look at the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate, there is an extremely high percentage of millionaires inside those clubs. And so you'll say, well, how do I get in? Well, you get elected. And of course, what happens when you get elected? Well, that's when the fun starts because all of a sudden you are involved in inside knowledge of what goes on in Washington, D.C. Now, you may say to yourself, that's kind of incredible, kind of wild. How do I become a member? Well, it's almost impossible to get elected, but should you get in and should you have the right financial backers to get you into the House or get you into the Senate, then, well, you guessed it, you're in. I'm going to go ahead and change this venue because I think I'm going to go ahead and take this outside because the weather looks decent, and guess what? We could use a different venue, so why not? Let's roll with it. Okay, well, this might be a much more pleasant place to do the economic report from because guess what? You are here and you are live, and guess what? It's a very pleasant summer day. Yes, and these days are fleeting a little bit, but right now we're doing a porch talk, and those things are a ton of fun as well. So, thank you once again for joining me here. I think you'll enjoy the conversation. And of course, today we started off speaking about the Millionaires Club. Hey, how are you today? Glad to have you here, Prez. Welcome to the Economic Club. Okay, great to see you. And once again, a like and a subscribe is all that we ask for because it's a free service. And of course, what are we doing? We're going live and talking about the things that matter and matter quite a bit. We're talking about the Millionaires Club that exists in Washington, D.C. And when we're talking about that, oh, you are amazing, Jay Preds. Thank you very much for being a subscriber. You made my day just like that. Yes, you are awesome. Thank you. So we're talking about that Millionaires Club, and of course, what I'm really talking about is the U.S. Congress. Between the House of Representatives and between the U.S. Senate, there is an extremely high percentage of, yes, you guessed it, millionaires. Now you want to say, well, how on earth do they become millionaires? But let's face it, without a doubt, and like without a doubt, these folks have insider knowledge of what's going on with legislation, what's going on with regulations, and how those things are going to affect the price of a stock in Washington, D.C. So you could say to yourself, that's pretty incredible information to have. And of course, if you know what's going to happen before it happens, that's what's referred to as insider knowledge. And insider trading takes place if you buy or sell a stock based on information that's not above the board, not that everybody else has. Amalia, how are you? I think I've got that correct. Welcome. Oh, you are awesome. Thanks, Jay Preds. And Amaya, good to hear from you as well. So with that, make sure you're liked and subscribed as well, just like Jay Preds, because Jay Preds is amazing. So here we have some legislation being passed now. It's called the Trust Act. Now, the Trust Act sounds, thank you. You are amazing, Amaya. Thank you very much. So in D.C., you're finding more and more of a movement, both Democrats and Republicans. After all, they can't agree on some things. But the one thing they're looking like they're going to agree on is that the American people need to build a little bit of a bigger trust in them. And of course, how do you trust people? Well, you trust people who do what they're supposed to do, keep their word, be consistent in their actions, and of course, This push is to keep the people in Washington, D.C. above board in their stock transactions, which is pretty wild if you think about it. So the idea is that from this point forward, did you know that they're going to actually have to put, congressmen are actually going to have to put all their financial funds into a trust, right? A trust that can't be touched. And from there, they cannot trade the stocks based on any information they get. Branson Brown, well, Branham, glad to have you here. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for liking, and thank you for subscribing. Go ahead and drop comments below because we are talking about the Millionaires Club in Washington, D.C., and we're talking about the U.S. Congress and really what's going on there. And by the way, if you think other people should be joining this live, go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and say that you should join. Ask others here as well. Low Key Delaney, glad to have you here. Welcome as well. You are awesome. Make sure you are liked and subscribed. You are awesome. So with that, what's happening is a movement inside of DC to kind of help the American people gain a little bit trust of our congressmen, U.S. senators, etc. Low Key Delaney, I will give you a shout out as soon as you go and hit the subscribe button. You better believe I will. And so that is what we love here on this channel. So from there, Daniel, glad to have you here. We are from the United States. All right, you are awesome. Thank you for joining me on the live here. Let's go ahead and check out a few other items here. And of course, what we want to do is build some kind of trust with the American people. And you could see for a fact that finally somebody in DC is thinking about the people first, or should we say the little people first. It takes a ton of money to get elected. And when people get elected, well, they have the people's trust, but they also have access to inside information that the average person won't have. And that's where this insider training comes from. Delaney, you better believe we will give you a shout out. Thank you very much. And of course, Amaya, thank you very much. Well, okay. The profile is the cat. Thank you for joining. You are awesome as well. So make sure you invite others. Listen, if others should be here listening to this live, go ahead. Feel free to invite them. They can be my guests. They can be your guest for that matter. So now that some of this legislation is being proposed, you'll notice there's going to be a little bit of a change. Oh, Hunter Kibble, welcome. Thank you for joining us here at the Economic Report. Once again, this is the place where people like you take stuff from DC politics and Wall Street economics, and we bring things down to Main Street for people just like us. If I can go ahead and add a couple of other things here. Of course, can I get a shout out of, well, Delaney, I have given you a shout out once. I'll give you a shout out again. Low Key Delaney, thank you for being here, and thank you for subscribing to this channel. People like you make our day. So we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Of course, other news going on here, of course, would be that the President of the United States was, they talk about shout outs, was giving all the European leaders here shout outs. Hunter, I will give you a shout out as well. Thank you for subscribing. You are amazing. The President of the United States went ahead and did a conference with the European leaders from England, from jolly old England. Our British cousins, welcome. Glad to have you here. Amaya, you are awesome. What part of England are you from? I'm curious. We love our British cousins, of course. At least on this channel we do. Delaney, I've given you about 3 or 4 different shout outs, so once again, I'm probably almost all shouted out for you, but thank you very much for being here with us. A couple things here that we can find. Yeah, let's try this a third time. A couple things we can do, which we always do. Low key Delaney, we can do is go ahead and check out the other things that matter and matter quite a bit. Of course, it appears as though the Russians and Ukrainians, and of course, at first I didn't think I had lots of cousins, but when my mom told me, I was shocked about how much cousins I had. Well, you go to you go back to the United States. Uh, my people came from Glamorganshire, Wales, like way back when. We're talking in the 1700s to the United States. And of course, other lineage names are like Russell and names. Yeah, there you go. And so you have names like Russell, you have names, um, sorry, you have other names here that really do have a tremendous amount of connections back to Wales as well. So, yes, that's right. We gave Delaney so many shout outs that we might make the whole show about Delaney. We can't do that, but we do appreciate Delaney being here. So, with that, we can go ahead and talk about a few other things here. One of the other last names here are Bradley. One of the other last names are Russell. So, Amaya, we most absolutely do have some contacts with our dear folks back in jolly old England. As a matter of fact, we've had missionaries stay with us as well in the summer that have come from Scotland, from Northern Ireland, from England. So you better believe it. I have black cousins and white cousins. Well, that kind of makes you amazing. And you know what? You are a true Briton, I think, because that really is kind of the direction the UK has gone maybe a couple hundred years ago, right? We're talking about a wide range of people throughout the British Empire. So, like, make no doubt about it. So, with that, we are going to go ahead and talk about some other things that matter a ton. We talk crypto here, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up the crypto prices. The one crypto that I do hold is one called Solana, currently trading at $186 per coin. I can go ahead and take a look at the other two because they have been getting absolutely smoked, in part because I've got news for you, folks. Part of the reason why they are getting absolutely crushed has to deal with, you guessed it, the big meet at Jackson Hole, Wyoming this weekend. This is going to be a significant meeting for the financial sector. And you can expect people like Jerome Powell to speak. And of course, what he'll be speaking about are the interest rates. And of course, any kind of a drop in interest rates will be good news for the market. They're talking about a possible 0.25% interest rate and maybe, just maybe, even a half side. Oh, the music, glad to have you here. And with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next part of this, which is going to be the Ethereum and gold prices here. We'll do a quick check-in here as well. Ethereum up to 4,344. Good stuff here as well. We're going to follow that up with Bitcoin. The Bitcoin price, BTC, is trading at, okay, 114,000 bucks a coin, which is really down quite a bit. So it's been an absolutely terrible couple of weeks for Bitcoin. It was up to 125 at one point in time. Now it's down to about 114, but once again, it could be consolidating a little bit and waiting for the next round of investment. Of course, Bitcoin is actually traded on the New York Stock Exchange and various ETFs, so it's another thing to take into consideration. I can give you a couple of other insights here because we do always talk about precious metals as well. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at what we use as our go-to is Kitco Gold. which is KITCO Gold. And Kitco Gold is at Gold Chart, Gold Live, and they are going to give us a price of, the one number we're trying to pay attention to is 3333, which is about 3-4 weeks ago was off of that, bouncing off that number. Today up 33.50 per ounce of gold, up to 3,347 per ounce. So that's a good one to follow. The next one we will take a look at would be silver. That's another one of the things we pay attention to for no other reason. It's just another metal that is traded. So we'll check the silver prices today here at the economic report. And with that, 37.81 per ounce. So once again, silver up slightly, about 1%, 1.3%. So you call that a pretty productive day for silver as well. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Economic Report. I'm glad that you joined me here today. And of course, today's top story was covering the Trust Act that is going on in Washington, D.C. right now. We are hoping that there's going to be some real movement here in the Trust Act, in part because we need to be able to trust our congressmen, that they're looking out for the best interests of the American people. And of course, they're taking at least personal financial gain and putting that aside. That would be a first step to maybe repair some of the damage that's been done. They made an attempt at this in the Stock Act of 2012. But that's going back like well over a decade ago, and I guess Congress's popularity is never real high, and the old saying is, neither your wallet nor your liberty is in complete safety when Congress is in session. So that's something else to take into consideration. Neither your life, your liberty, nor your finances are at safe place when Congress is in session. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, it has been the Economic Report. I've had some amazing guests here today. I'll be here tomorrow, 4:30. And once again, looking forward to having you at the Economic Report. And a couple closing thoughts here. Just remember that the biggest battle we fight is the one between our ears, over our thoughts, our actions, and our attitude. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure you say hi to people on the street. Smile, because it will make somebody's day. And of course, it doesn't cost you a cent beyond being kind to another human being. And Lord knows that the world needs a little bit more kindness from all of us. Until later, I will be gone. And now, today's live session with the Economic Report. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you are liked and subscribed so you can get up-to-moment updates. Thank you.